Hold up, wait a minute, let me put some glow up in it. To all my wonderful GlowBots, I'm glowing with the flow and I'm back to not only put on a show, but also let you know what it's like to glow. Period.
Bring it to the flow.
In this video, as you may already be able to tell from my glasses, we are gonna be talking about everything love. Period. I wanted to do this video to just basically give you guys my perspective on some of like the most asked questions regarding love. I mean, I've never personally been in love, or I've never really experienced like the full extent of love, to the fact of love being like wholesomely unconditional. But from the most universally logical perspective, you know, my perspective that I give you guys all the time, we're gonna answer some of the most asked questions about love. So let's get right into it. The first question to be answered is saying I love you just enough? Personally speaking, to me, saying I love you means nothing. I mean, we all can say stuff. That's why, you know, we're blessed with words and vocal abilities. But to actually display the emotion behind those words and to actually prove to somebody that you love them beyond just saying I love you would weigh more than just saying I love you. Because like, love is something that you can feel, yes, and you can convey and display that you love somebody by saying I love you. But who just wants to hear I love you? Like, if you're saying I love you and you don't show to somebody that you love them, and depends on whichever way that person sees love to be there to receive from them, then it's going to be worthless, especially to that person that you're saying I love you to. So saying I love you sometimes is just simply not enough. The second question is, what is one thing about love that scares you? So for me, and I feel like for a lot of people, one thing about love that scares them is the fact that you don't know whether or not this person that you're showing love to loves you back, and whether or not that reciprocation of love is the most genuine reason as you can believe that love to be. So for me personally, another scary thing about love is like not being able to show love, or not being able to receive love, or just not knowing how, you know, to operate whilst being in love. The third question is, does having conflicts with somebody means that you do not love them? The answer to that question is no. We're all human. We all have our own personal attributes. We all have our own personal ways of doing things, of thinking about things. We're all our own unique individuals per se. So naturally, we're all gonna clash, whether or not we're in a relationship with somebody, whether or not we say we love somebody or not. It's just a part of life. We're gonna disagree, and that's just it. But it says a lot about your character, and it says a lot about the strength of that love that you claim to have for that person, whether or not you choose to work it out, or whether or not you choose to fight for that love and make compromises, because life and love is about compromises as well. So having conflicts does not mean you don't love somebody. It actually, to me, means that you love them enough, or love them even more, to say that you're your own individual at the end of the day. Yes, granted, but it's just like, aside from that, whether or not you're willing to work it out at the end of the day shows a lot as well. The fourth question to be answered is, can love fade away over time? To me, I feel like once you love somebody genuinely, I feel like you can stop caring for them, but innately, you should always have like some type of love for them, even if you don't care for them anymore, even if you're, you know what I'm saying, they're distant out of your life now and all that good stuff. So I feel like you can stop caring for them, but to actually love someone, no, that's a tricky one. I mean, you can fall out of love to the extent of where you're not in a relationship anymore, but I feel like it all depends. That doesn't mean you wouldn't care about the person or anything like that, but it's just the two of you are at a point where, a point beyond repair. So it's like, depending on the circumstances, yes, you can stop caring for somebody, less you might stop loving to somebody from a certain extent. But naturally speaking, I feel like if we're giving love genuinely, we should always have that love that we've given or that we've received genuinely as well. The fifth question is, should you make sacrifices for love? So to me, life and love is all about sacrificing. You're never gonna grow, you're never gonna evolve, you're never gonna have the full experience we're meant to have in this lifetime without making certain sacrifices. So sacrifice in life and in love is a good thing, but I feel like it also depends on what we're being asked to sacrifice. It depends on our own personal experiences and stuff. Like asking somebody to sacrifice something that's like that made them who they are, or something that's been near and dear to their heart for like the entire span of their existence, would be basically asking them to sacrifice themselves for you. And I feel like you shouldn't want to ask somebody to do that, and a lot of people wouldn't even be willing to do something to that extent. Yes, sacrifice is good, but as it relates to sacrificing yourself, it shouldn't be required, I don't think. The next question is, what is the best way to show somebody that you love them? To me, the best way to show somebody that you love them is to actually be there for them. A lot of people feel like love is this thing that needs gratification or that needs confirmation from like the outside world. Like you got to display your love like in these extravagant kinds of ways, like on Valentine's Day per se, like but going all out and buying all the expensive gifts and this, that, and the third. I mean, if you're a materialistic type of person to that level, then okay, what I'm saying, that might be the type of love that you're willing to receive, or that you've been used to receiving, or that might be what you constitute as love. But naturally speaking, I feel like just being there for somebody, showing that you care for them, listening to them and giving them your undivided attention, and just understanding them where they're coming from, or at least trying to, unconditionally, would show a lot about your character, and it show a lot about what that person means to you in your life. So I feel like that's one of, if not the best ways to display to somebody or to show someone that you love them. The next question we're going to answer is if physical connection outweighs physical attraction or vice versa. So which one would be more important? And I feel like a lot of different people would weigh them differently. Like some people might say they prefer the physical connection over physical attraction, and some people might say they prefer physical attraction over physical connection. But I feel like realistically speaking, there needs to be like a balance of both. I'm not saying there needs to be an equal balance, because like I just said, some people might value one over the other, but there definitely needs to be a balance to a certain level to make that love, or to make that relationship, or to make that connection work in the long run. But for me, it's mostly about physical connection, because like anybody can look good, but if you're not a good person, if you don't have good morals or values, or if you don't have a good essence, a good nature, a good attitude towards yourself, then what am I doing with you? What is there to be done with you? Nothing. So it depends on who you are. Just weigh the differences and just balance them out. The next question is, can you love and be alone? I feel like, speaking from like being in a relationship, because a lot of people, when they're in relationships, like I said in a pre-question, it's mostly just for like the confirmation, or like to display to the outside world that, oh hey, I'm in this relationship, or I have this person, or we're doing this, that, and the third. But I feel like, into that same regard, a lot of people would be like, oh my goodness, like, I'm saying, I can't be away from you, I can't be around. Like, no, first of all, that's stalkish. Stop stalking them. It's not, no. That's being a stalker. But I feel like, even in a relationship, at the end of the day, we are our own people. So I feel like, me personally, like I told you guys once upon a time in a previous video, I value the heck out of my alone time. That I do. So being in a relationship, I feel like that's one of the things that I'm going to also value as well. And I feel like my partner is going to need to realize that and understand that that doesn't mean that, I don't like spending time or being around them, but it's just like, it's natural, you feel me? So I feel like a lot of people should want some alone time away from their significant other. And I feel like that, at the end of the day, that'll make you more tolerable of the person, because it's like, it's not like you're up under them 24/7. So it's like, it gives you a time to refocus your mind and just like think about stuff, evaluate stuff, like your emotions, your energy, your connection, just everything. So I feel like alone time, especially being in a relationship, it's not a bad thing. Our next question is, should you keep secrets from a loved one? I feel like depending on where you guys are in the nature of your relationship, and I'm using the term relationship very loosely because we're just talking about love generally, right? So in the span of your relationship, depends on where you are, and depends on what the secret is and what the effects, the truth of that influence or effect in a relationship. I feel like certain stuff, yes, you can, you know, you should be allowed to keep a secret for a certain amount of time at least. But more often than not, if you don't want a person to know about something, an aspect of your life, then I feel like that says a lot about like what you feel or what you presume would happen if the secret was to get out. So I feel like you can keep a secret depending on what the secret is, like I just said, but just don't keep it like forever, you know what I'm saying? Don't just like hide it in a box then bury the box. So because once that box is uncovered, whether you say something or not, that's gonna make things a whole lot worse. So I feel like, yeah, you can keep a secret, just know to what extent the secret is being kept. And our last question for the day is, should you lie to protect someone? I feel that honesty is always the best policy, and the truth shall set you free. But hell yeah, you can lie. You can lie. Going back to what I said just now about secrets, like, it's okay to lie, depending on like what the lie is and what the truth is gonna do to the relationship. But it's just like, grow the grow the balls to want to tell the truth sooner or later. Sooner rather than later, but sooner or later, because like I said, you don't know how it's going to affect, and you don't want to like the repercussions of this lie to just be damaging to what you're trying to build. Like a famous saying I once heard from the Golden Girls, Rose just said, "Oh, what a tangle web we weave when first we practice to tell a fib." Meaning, that stayed with me. I heard that from when I was young, and that stayed with me. What that means is, like, when you lie, it's like you're just gonna have to keep coming up with more and more lies to cover your initial lie, and then you run the risk of forgetting like the lies you've told all throughout the process. And it's just like your odds of getting caught becomes much more greater when you add more lie to it. So it's just like, why weave that web of lies to just like, you know what I'm saying? So just yeah, lie. Why not? But just tell the truth. And if you're doing it for a righteous reason, that would help also. Don't be lying out here just to lie. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And that is the end of video about love. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss anything that's gonna be amazing. I'm amazing. Bring it to the floor. Bring it to the floor. Bring it to the bring. Bring it to the bring. Bring it to the bring. Bring it to the floor. Bring it to the floor.